Security is tight outside the Hong Kong court as media tycoon and pro-democracy activist Jimmy Lai arrives at the court to face his biggest trial. The 76-year-old can face life imprisonment over his charges under Beijing's national security law. The police bus carrying Jimmy Lai could be seen entering the court premises. The trial will begin shortly. Lai gained popularity as one of the most fierce critics of the Chinese Communist Party's stronghold in Hong Kong. In 1995, he founded the country's pro-democracy newspaper, Apple Daily. The newspaper was forced to shut in 2021. After Lai's arrest in August 2020, police authorities froze about $2.3 million worth of firm's assets. After multiple raids at the paper's building, the British national has been in prison for 1,100 days now. Lai has often made headlines for his involvement in Hong Kong's umbrella movement, protests in 2014, and the more recent anti-extradition bill demonstrations in 2019. Western nations have slammed the Beijing-backed charges in the trial. United States and the European Union and even the United Nations have voiced their concerns. However, Beijing has dismissed it as mere interference. The British Foreign Secretary, David Cameron, reiterated that Britain will continue to stand with British national. Cameron reportedly also raised the issue with his Chinese counterpart, Wang Yi. But what are the charges faced by the media mogul? Jimmy Lai has been accused of conspiracy to collude with foreign forces. Additionally, he has also been charged with collusion under the international security law. Lai is also facing sedition charges under a colonial-era law, which has been historically used for cracking down on dissent in the country. The 80-day trial will be carried out without a jury or a lawyer of Lai's choice. Lai's son has rubbished the trial, accusing it for having a predetermined outcome.
Reflexively anxious, but there's actually no anxiety involved once you think about it, because it's a complete show trial. The result is already predetermined. It's a trial with 3 government-appointed judges, no jury, and the security minister recently boasted of a 100% conviction rate. So an absolute champ.
The proceedings of the case are said to be highly publicized, as it will also be momentous for the future of Hong Kong's image as an international business and financial hub. For more on this, we're now being joined by WION correspondent Andrew Wood, live from Hong Kong. Thank you so much for joining us. Andrew, what can you tell us about the situation? Of course, as I mentioned earlier, we will not be getting a lawyer of his choice or a jury. Lai's son has in fact said that this trial does have a predetermined outcome and they are not in fact expecting a fair trial. What's your take on the situation?
Well, it has actually started now. Jimmy Lai has actually arrived in the court and appeared in the court. And as you say, the security has been pretty tight. You can't get into the court building without going through X-ray machines, and there are many, many police there. This is such a high-profile trial. I think that the police are worried that it might be disrupted in some way that could be embarrassing to the Hong Kong government. And this is, yes, a test of how far Hong Kong and how far Beijing is prepared to go to make any form of dissent, any form of support for democracy in Hong Kong seem as unappealing as possible. The British British Foreign Secretary has said that as Mr. Lai is a British citizen, is calling for his release. And Britain has said that the national security law that Beijing imposed, under which partly Mr. Lai is being charged, breaks the agreement that China made with the United Kingdom prior to the handover of Hong Kong, which was then a British colony, back to China in 1997.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, in fact, I was just going to come to this. British Foreign Secretary as well as the United States, they have made their displeasure with this decision known. Do you think the involvement of the international community or their condemnation will yield any sort of results?
I very much doubt it. I think China has been very consistent in its approach to Hong Kong over the past couple of years. It has been, it's not going to give in, I think, to any form of foreign persuasion at the moment. China says that what goes on in Hong Kong is a Chinese affair. Hong Kong is part of China, and that no other country has the right to interfere with what's going on. Now, of course, a lot of people in the UK government feel that they have a moral responsibility to protect what people in Hong Kong because of the way it was a British colony and the way it was handed over, and there was the agreement between China and the United Kingdom over how there would be more democracy in Hong Kong and not less. But I think what's happened in Hong Kong is very, very different. The way democracy, as China calls it, has developed in Hong Kong is very, very different to that as envisaged back in 1997 when there was the original handover. But as I say, China says Hong Kong is Chinese territory. It can do basically whatever it wants.
All right. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us on WION with all the updates on this. We'll, of course, continue to track all the developments closely.